You're listening to the tale of two podcasters from the 2007 RAB TGO Challenge, brought to you by theoutdoorstation.co.uk.
This podcast is just one of a special series produced from a wealth of recordings made in May 2007 by two backpackers, Andy Howell and me, Bob Cartwright, as we made our way via two different routes from the west to the east coast of Scotland as part of the 2007 RAB TGO Challenge.
Here at RAB, we're pleased to be involved in the TGO Challenge, which is the perfect testing ground for our clothing and sleeping bags. RAB has a Scottish heritage and over 25 years' experience of making gear that performs in the varied weather of the Highlands, as well as gear for the highest peaks in the Himalaya.
Co-sponsors TGO, the Great Outdoors magazine, have been behind this May event since its inception in 1980. The framework and principle is totally unique. It isn't a race or a competition of any kind. The objective is to foster good fellowship amongst walkers within the framework of a challenging 200-mile expedition. The start consists of a series of sign-out locations on the west coast, from Torridon in the north down to Ardrishaig in the south. Each challenger, solo, couple or group makes their way via a high route, a low route or a mixture of the two across Scotland to finish anywhere between Arbroath and Fraserburgh on the east coast. There's a set 2-week window to do this in, and each participant submits their route for inspection prior to departure for safety and advice reasons. The places, however, are limited to 300, and details about the event, entry forms, past stories and photographs can be found in the October issue of TGO magazine and on their website. Each participant makes the challenge as easy or as hard as they wish. The extremes can be a remote high route, crossing wild country and not seeing another soul for days on end. Or a route which takes in the many social events, perhaps not camping at all and just using established accommodation all the way. Most people do a mixture of the two in different forms. This year I started with my wife Rose in the beautiful village of Plockton, and Andy Howell with his partner Kate started from Strathcarron. We both carried recorders with us to capture our audio diaries and conversations which took place with other walkers as well as locals as we made our way to the east coast. Yes, this is the tale and adventures of two podcasters. Thursday night at the Park Hotel is when most challengers gather to catch up with those they met in passing during the trip and share the Last Supper with good friends forged during their adventure. It is an evening of amusing speeches, fond memories, good humour, all of which consolidates the fellowship of the challenge. This episode contains a snapshot of some of the experiences and emotions of the challengers on that night, starting with Craig Macpherson from Texas. So your first time to Scotland, first time on the TGO.
Right.
What is your lasting experience now?
Well, my last name, it's Macpherson. So I knew I had to come to Scotland and, touch my roots and see what was going on. And I did the trip with my sister, Wendy Olson, and the two of us had just a fantastic time. From the start to the end, we just had a great time, every minute.
So how did you actually hear about the event itself? And how did it all come about?
My daughter was married last June 06, and she had a wedding in mainland UK, and then all of us met in London afterwards. And Terry Leyland, Wendy, and I toured London, and we started doing a lot of walking tours in London. And Terry and Wendy go, you ought to try this TGO challenge. You can do it. You've got the walking capability to take on these miles. And I said, all right, let's go. Excellent. So that's what happened.
Fantastic. I mean, how have you actually found the terrain? Do you do much walking at home, and has it been really different?
It's totally different. In Texas, you can go down 100 feet, up 100 feet, and do cycles like that.
Yeah.
And so you can get good and tired walking, but you don't get any elevation at all. So this was really fun, going up and up and up and up and down and down and down and down. Totally different experience. I'm used to hiking in desert conditions. I'm used to carrying lots of water, like 12 pounds of water. One time I went on a 2-day hike through the Grand Canyon, and I carried 16 pounds of water. And before I started that 2-day period of no water, we were drinking all the water we could possibly hold to get another pound or two, inside of us. So I went from complete desert hiking to this hiking where there's water every 20 feet. It's just amazingly different.
Yeah.
I only carried one 32-ounce container to hold all the water that I used the whole trip.
Yeah.
That just totally amazed me that I could use so little water.
Yeah, but the reason for that is there's more space for whiskey.
Well, let me tell you what happened there. Terry Leyland.
Oh, well, yeah, he's a legend.
He loves whiskey. He bought me some 750 milliliters of whiskey, and he said, "You need to carry all this weight in whiskey." And I went, oh. I added up my pack weight was 48 pounds.
Whoa.
And I said, no, we've got to take at least 8 pounds out of here. And the whiskey didn't make the trip.
Oh, that's a sorry day. I'm sure a lot of people are sorry to hear that.
I poured all the whiskey back into Terry's bottle, and I put it back in his liquor cabinet. Yeah. So I'm sure Terry got to drink it.
So what sort of, for anybody listening from your area, as it were, your country, might be interested in doing something like this? We do have a lot of people listening overseas.
Yep.
How would you describe it to them so they would understand and recommend it to them?
Okay, get ready for long days of hiking. Wendy and I were getting up at 9 or 9:30 in the morning and hiking till 9 or 9:30 at night every day. We had about 15 minutes of free time per day. The rest of the day was all packing, eating, camping. We were just totally busy for 2 weeks.
And was it tough? Would you describe it as tough?
Yes, I would. Most people, unless you're ready to get yourself energized to this level of that physical activity, you would have trouble keeping that psyched up the whole time. But what I found happened was the energy level just elevated. I found myself just super aware of everything that was going on, just sort of psyched up and just, I don't know, energized by the whole experience.
Do you feel fit now?
Oh yeah, I lost several pounds. I used to have a little rubber tire around my outside. That's pretty much gone. I think I probably lost 10 pounds in 2 weeks.
Okay, and another favourite question is best bit of equipment, worst bit of equipment?
Let's see. Well, we had a real nice tent that it's a Hilleberg. We used a Hilleberg tent that Terry provided.
Yellow?
Yeah, the yellow. That's an excellent tent. And that's a very popular tent. A lot of people here using it. Worst piece of equipment. I bought a very bulky pack in the U.S. It was the smallest pack that they had that would fit me, but everybody here looked at my pack, lifted my pack, and said, "You're crazy if you carry that thing all the way across Scotland." So I had to listen to that over and over and over. So if you're going to do this trip, I recommend you get to UK. Go to some place where they have a nice camping gear store and then buy your pack there, and then you'll look like everybody else. You'll have, one of these, 80 or 70 liter packs instead of I think I had 105 liters.
Oh,
I had a big pack.
Weight is an issue, isn't it?
Well, yes. I got my pack down to about 40 pounds and did my trek on that. I could have taken another 5 pounds out, which I should have. I had winter weather gear because I was expecting really cold weather, and I never ended up. Well, I used everything in my pack at least once, but I had a lot of extra winter weather gear that I didn't really need, and I had extra things that I won't take next time.
So there is a next time.
Oh yeah, I'd like to try again. Yep. We'll see when exactly.
But it's something you'd like to promise yourself to do.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Actually, while I was at a B&B, I heard about the opportunity to swim the English Channel. And in August, apparently, there's a group swimming the English Channel. So I'm wondering if I'm up to that.
Okay.
So I've got that on my list too.
And between you, what was the one piece of music that kept going round and round in your head as you were tromping along the heather?
Wendy had a tin flute. She carried a tin flute the whole way.
Yeah.
Yep. And she would sing various folk songs, and that song about the drunken sailor, that was her favorite song. So that one kept going through my head.
So every time you hear that from now on, you'll think about the pleasure and the pain.
Yes, I will. Yep.
Well, thanks for your time, and I look forward to seeing you next time.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Peter Varley looked relaxed and content, and was obviously very pleased with the route he'd chosen this year. First of all, we're here at the celebration. Have you had a successful and enjoyable crossing?
I've had an absolutely fantastic crossing, particularly started on the west coast at Mallaig and the Knoydart Peninsula. Was amazing. It's my third crossing and it's the best yet. It's been fantastic.
Was the weather on your side? Because everybody seems to have had sort of changeable weather the first few days.
Yeah, it's been not bad generally. The first few days there was no wind whatsoever, and it's been really sunny, really good weather. I think we had a couple of days of heavy showers and mainly wind. I think most people have had a lot of wind and a bit of rain, but it's mainly just the wind. Yeah, it's been pretty strong at times, but generally good.
I first met you 3 years ago when you first crossing at Glenfeshie, and I remember you coming into Glenfeshie and opening up this rucksack, and I couldn't believe what was in there. There was copious amounts of exciting things like fishing rods and well, it wasn't cappuccino sets, but it might as well be. You had a bit of everything in there. How are things changed in your rucksack now? Have you got it sort of more honed down and a bit lighter?
Yeah, I've been grinding down those grams for 35 years now. It's getting there. Yeah, I did have a fishing rod that first year, a 3.5 ounce fly rod.
Did you do any fishing with it at all?
No, I'm afraid I didn't have any time at all. Just walking all day long, up to 12 hours a day some days on the longer stretches. So I've not brought it since. Yeah, what else have I changed? Gear-wise, I normally have Coleman F1 as a stove. I've got the little anti-gravity stove, the little Pepsi can one. It's 11 grams, quarter of an ounce, and it seems to run on about 2 teaspoonfuls of meths quite well for a pan full of water. It seems to be very good actually. I like a lot of kit. You have to get used to it. You can't judge it on its first trial.
But it's performed for you this time round, yeah?
Yeah, it has. I've had a few hexamine tablets that somebody. I've got a lot of army surplus stuff that somebody just gave me. They just thought I'd try that. I mean, the theory is with both the hexamine, the solid fuel, and the little Pepsi can stove is that when the fuel is burnt, there's nothing left. You don't have a stove. You don't have the empty gas canister. You've got nothing left. I mean, the Pepsi can stove, that hardly counts as a quarter of an ounce, and I use a small top bottle for the meths, and that weighs nothing either.
So you're saying that with the fishing rods, when you came, there was you actually spend all day long walking. I think that's what most people are sort of a bit surprised at, actually. I mean, I made the mistake myself the first time. You bring sort of extra toys and things to occupy yourself, but actually your mind is looking down, where are you stepping, where are you going, working out that you make sure that you're exactly where you think you are, and so on. What would you advise people to consider if they were thinking of doing this to definitely leave out of their rucksack?
To leave out of the rucksack? Just, I think, generally the weight. I know some people, you know, they go on about they're not into this lightweight stuff, but I do. I just don't want to be lugging 30, 40, 50 pound around with me. I think I'm near about 25 with food. I mean, when I go off for 3-4 days, my base weight's about 15 pounds and about 17 with food. I think I need a distinction between ultra lightweight for the US and ultra lightweight for Great Britain. So I think we need a bit of a movement on ULGB and US. I think there's a big difference between in say California where it might rain every 5 months, and in Britain it can rain every 5 minutes.
Yeah, I mean there was an occasion on this trip over where the humidity had changed dramatically in the evening. I mean, the inside of my tarp tent was absolutely sopping, and yet the following night it was as dry as a bone.
Yeah, it can be very changeable, as you know, in this country. Anything can happen. So yeah, you need to be prepared in this country. So there is a limit to how light you can go, unless you come into the category of being almost borderline on being stupid, you know.
Yeah, you've got to be careful. Okay, very quickly then, high point, low point of the trip.
Whoa, so many. Neudat Peninsula was all amazing. I managed to, it's more of a story than a highlight or low light, that I met a lady on top of a cliff in a gorge in Edsall Woods, rather distressed and crying, and apparently a puppy dog, a little black spaniel, had fallen over the cliff down the gorge, and I managed to scramble down there with a little lightweight bag around my neck, and scramble back up with the dog in, and I think it broken its front leg, but she's going to have it x-rayed, and it seemed fine. Yeah,
that was a nice story.
Yeah, there's all sorts of things have happened on this trip, too numerous to remember. Yeah.
And I gather you also sadly had a slight accident with your glasses as well at the very beginning.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one temporarily. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not normally much of a drinker, but the first night I met a couple of people that weren't challengers. They were all outside. I don't know why. But there were Scottish people with the old whiskey there plying me. So, yeah, I happened to... I stepped on my glasses somehow. And also I managed to spill a pan of boiling water over my legs. So I quickly put my cold platypus on it, and that helps a lot. And I've also seemed to have gashed the back of my leg as well today, in fact. Tripped over some barbed wire.
Gosh, you have quite a few adventures, and of course I understand you met your partner on the challenge as well.
I didn't meet her on the challenge, but she did come last year and really enjoyed it and met a lot of friends. Just due to work commitments, and unfortunately she's not with me this year, but she did really enjoy it, and hopefully she'll be back next year or soon.
Okay, final question. We all have one. What was your tune that was going round around your head as you were ploughing your way across the heather or along the tracks? There's always somebody that has one tune that keeps going round and round. They just can't get out of their heads. No, nothing at all.
I can't think of a tune at all, but I did bring this time for the first time a little MP3 player, a little Creative Zen Nano Plus, a tiny little thing, and I've got loads of tracks on there from one extreme to the other, a bit of Hendrix, Deep Purple to some chill out stuff, and that was really good, and I recommend bringing an MP3 player. It's got a built-in radio in, so it's good for weather forecasts, etc., so that was great.
Okay, so final question of course is then we'll see you again, of course.
Well, yeah, you sometimes in a doubt whether you'll be back, but ultimately, when I get back home, I'll no doubt be planning a route like I did last year as soon as I got back, yeah.
First-time challengers are the future of this event, such as Jennet Tenant, wife of Stan at Localita Lodge. But first we hear from overseas first-timer Rolk Kerikoff from Holland. Okay, Rolf, you've completed your first challenge. How are you feeling?
Very well. I'm very proud, and I'm very glad that I found out about the TGO, basically.
Yeah. So, what's it been like for you? Because if you're obviously from Holland, things are slightly different to Scotland.
Well, the hills are obviously very difficult for my Dutch legs, and the first 4 days has been very hard in the west side, but slowly I began to meet more people, and the hills get lower and the weather got better, and the event was perfect.
Yeah. Have you done much sort of mountain climbing before, mountain walking in this sort of terrain?
I've been walking mostly in the north part of England. I've done the Pennine Way in '79, I think, and I've done the Wainwright's Coast to Coast in '82. Done the Dales Way, Cumbria Way, St Cuthbert's Way, Speyside Way, stuff like that. But nothing so wild as I've done the last 2 weeks.
So, I mean, it was good preparation that what you've already done. You understand what the English weather can be like, and obviously Scotland's an extra dimension, isn't it?
It is, yeah. And what for me was the extra dimension was the loneliness. I deliberately choose to go onto Noidar from the north side where nobody is, and I crossed from Noidar to Glenkingie, and I didn't met a soul. It was very hard going, but it was so impressive.
So would you do that again now you've got one trip under your belt? Would you make it a little bit more sociable, do you think?
I would mix it. Yes, I would mix it. I'd be more careful about the trackless bits, though.
It's pretty rough going sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah. After 3 days, for example, I did 2 days of only 13 kilometers on Noidar, but both days took me more than 12 hours.
Yeah,
so it's been hard work.
Yeah, but it's a lovely view.
It is, yeah, it is. It is amazingly wild and unspoiled and untouched.
So what to you would be your high point of this is an event? The social side of it, or the scenery, or the fact that you've got a bit of a safety net with having control, sort of keep an eye on you? What is a good thing for you?
For me, it's the combination of all these things. The things I come to find out hill walking is basically I'm interested in old trade routes and like Drover roads and Peckhorse bridges and stuff like that. I have a logistical background, so I like to see how it was in the old days. And one of the very nice things of the UK landscape is that there is a lot to find out, a lot to see. And
did you discover any Drovers roads, or did you manage to put anything together?
Oh yes, that's one of the reasons why I started in Glenelg, because in Glenelg the drovers used to drive their cattle and let the cattle swim over from Skye onto the beach of Glenelg and then into the hills, and that's also the reason why General Wade built his barracks in Glenelg. Because if you look at the map, you think, why the hell would there be a barracks in Glenelg and not in Kyle or something? But the reason is the crossing of the cattle. That are things that I found out and I wanted to see. And I started the TGO by sitting on a bench and imagining the cattle swimming over. And I was sitting there on the Thursday evening before the start, and suddenly two voices behind me asked, "Are you on the TGO?" And I said, "Yes." And the second question was, "When will you be in Loch Callata Lodge?"
And did you go?
I did go.
Yeah, it's a great welcome, isn't it?
It is, yes. I was there on Sunday evening, and I've learned lots of new songs, and I've tasted whiskies I've never heard the name of before.
So that's a good thing too.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
So would you describe that the overall thing as being tough, very tough, or just a nice general balanced challenge?
Well, what I find very attractive is that for each participant, it is his own challenge. So there are people who have much more challenging routes than mine, but mine was challenging for me. And the very nice thing to experience is that everybody acknowledges that. It has nothing to do with competition.
No.
It has to do with, did you enjoy it and did you feel that you achieved it? And if you do, that is a good challenge.
Yeah. So are you tempted to come back again and explore some more drovers routes?
Definitely.
Yeah. And where would you start from next time if you've obviously thought about it? Everybody does the last few days.
Well, I've thought about a lot of glens I want to see, but not yet about a start point. But it would be either very much more south, say Oban or something, or more north as Clonell. And what I would do the same is start lonely and then slowly find the flow of people and flow in. Yeah.
And equipment-wise, were you happy with what you were carrying, or would you lighten the loads very much, or you stick to what you've used?
One of the good things I discovered is Paramo. I'm a convert, you say.
Fan, yeah.
And I brought my basic pack weight, dry weight you call it, I think. So no fuel, no water, no food, at around 13 kilos. But that's carrying a classic outer frame Berghans 130 litre backpack. So the next thing I'll change is this backpack. And I already calculated if I change this in, say, an Ula or something like that, or a Golide, I will come below the 9 kilo dry weight, and I think that's for a fortnight trekking very, very good.
That should be very comfortable, yeah.
Yeah.
I was just looking at your footwear there. You walked in boots, so you're not tempted to convert to lightweight shoes, Terox or whatever?
I've been thinking about that, but since Noidad, I'm back into boots. Boots and good gaiters.
Well, thanks very much indeed for your time. It's really nice to speak to you, and I look forward to you coming again.
Hope to see you again sometime.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
At the moment, it's just a feeling of elation. The fact that we've completed the walk, that we've done it through, I have to say, probably pretty good weather, all in all, as challenge weather goes. But last Friday night was absolutely horrendous. I have never been so wet. Not even quite terrified, but just, the feeling that the tent was going to go away with you in it, and thinking, there's absolutely nothing you can do but just hunker down and just wait for it to pass. And then we got up in the morning and we legged it to Braemar, but in between we stopped at Inverrye and got such a lovely welcome at the youth hostel there. Tea and a biscuit, Who could imagine that tea and a biscuit could actually mean so much? And then down to Braemar, and it was superb, And I was just, and that basically covers it. You go from absolute, so far down to elation of meeting everybody and speaking about your experiences and realising that you were not the only person that was soaked that night. And even people who've really, really experienced ended up in not too much better a situation you were in your own. And though I've been walking for years and years and years, it's the first time I've been out on my own, where I've done the navigation, I've pitched the tent, I've been in control of the cooking, and it was quite powerful in its own way because you had to depend on yourself, nobody else. There was nobody else to help you. You had to do it yourself.
And you were saying you've had some really nice
superb days.
Hospitalities from people as well.
Oh yeah, Maria Rossi in Drumgoose, they were just amazing. Literally knocked on her door to ask if we could use the field next to her, and she said the field didn't belong to her. And we said, no problem, we'll just move on. She says, but if you want, I can give you a caravan. Wonderful, as we will quite happily pay for it. She says, no, you can use the caravan. And once we got the kettle going and everything, she says, can we make some bacon and eggs? And we went, you've got a packet of dehydrated stuff or bacon and eggs. Tell me. But then she came back with the stew and tatties she'd just made. And then after we had that, she invited up to the house and we had a rather large whiskey. And then she says, maybe this was for her benefit, I don't know, would you like a shower? So I had a wonderful shower, some more whiskey, and her husband came in, and he just took it quite naturally that he should have two strangers sitting in his house in front of a roaring fire, wonderful. And then we went to the caravan and slept overnight, had a superb sleep, and that set us up for the next day, where we walked straight through to our very miserable evening at Glentilth. You know.
You're married to Bill of Bill and Stan fame.
I'm married to Stan.
Oh, Stan, beg your pardon, Stan of Bill and Stan fame at Localita. Now, does it make a big difference now from all the times, the stories they've been telling you over the years, the people that have come through Localita Lodge and the hospitality they've offered to people? Now you've experienced something completely different. How it feels?
Yeah, I suppose, because I'm always there on a Saturday at Carlton, so I never see the crowd. And giving hospitality to people has been brilliant, and I've really, really enjoyed it. But I never thought I would experience the total hospitality that I got from Mary and her husband. Just they vaguely heard of the TGO, but it wasn't in their life the way the Carlton Lodge has been in my life for many, many years. And they just offered us hospitality just off the cuff, without any asking, without any prompting, and it was absolutely amazing. And I think that's, you hear these stories, I've heard these stories before, but you never actually really believe them until they actually happen to you. And it was just, I have to say, that was probably the high point of the whole walk, the hospitality we got there. We were very, very tired, and it was just superb. You know? So
now you understand what it's like to be on the receiving end of it. When you actually come to Localita on a miserable day, you have that roaring fire and a cup of tea thrust into your hand.
Most definitely. And I think I'll appreciate it more in the future when we do it, assuming I never do it.
That's the next question.
Possibly, maybe, if. Who knows?
Now, you said at one stage when I met you earlier on that you're obviously a local to Localita, these parts, as I bumped into you at coming to Braemar.
Yeah.
Has the range of weather surprised you at all over that period of time?
Not at all. You take what you get. You know, you prepare for the worst and hope for the best. And I have to say that we've had everything you could possibly expect. To the point that we're probably everything you could possibly expect on the good side. I think the weather's been pretty kind to us. We've met various people that have been rained on quite a lot, and I have to say that I thought our weather was pretty good, apart from that one day. Late Friday afternoon to sort of midday Saturday, the weather was horrendous. But apart from that, we've had showers, we've had sun, we've had wind, we've had just basically Scottish weather. But the good thing is, regardless of what we've been given, we've seen everything. We've been in top of the Corriaric at 7 o'clock at night, absolutely dead on our feet, and we turn round, and every hill over on the west coast was in front of you. You've got the sun going down, and though I've got pictures of it, it'll never ever replace what I can see. And that was an absolutely amazing night, you know. And then we were dentists, so.
Excellent. Well, thanks for your time, and I look forward to bumping into you one more time.
We'll wait and see. We will reserve judgment, possibly, maybe, if.
Christine Roach and Ann Ling were positively brimming with stories of the kindness of others they had met en route.
Yes, it was. We've had luck on our side all the way through.
Excellent. Now, I understand that in particular, getting towards the end of it, you were getting a bit weary. So, do tell me the story.
Well, we were getting weary, and it was the second to last day, and we were plodding up this road walk to get to the cairn to see the sea.
And whereabouts was this? Which area?
This was on the east coast.
We walked along Water of Dye and then came out to the road and were heading for Clattering Brig Tea Room, yeah.
That's the one, yep.
So having plodded up this hill and seen the sea, we thought, oh, thank goodness the tea shop in 2 miles. And we got to the tea shop, and it was all bolted up. It was 4:45. Christine more or less collapsed. Sort of, oh, where's the tea? I went up there to bang on the door and say, we're challengers. Could you possibly make us a cup of tea? And there was nobody there. it was 3:45 and there was a notice there saying they shut at 4. So we thought, oh well, at least it's not raining, and we plodded on, and this man on this cyclist...
We stopped for a drink of water first, didn't we? Then Anne said, I don't think I was enough water to last through to the campsite. So I said, oh, we'll ask at the house, somebody will give us some water, and Anne hoped they'd give us some tea as well, but they didn't.
They didn't take the hint.
No, they didn't take the hint. So the cyclist came and he said, what's the matter with you two? Are you challengers? We said, yes. Have you had a lovely time? Yes. But we were a bit disappointed because we missed our tea. And the tea shop was shut. And did he know why it was shut? Were they ill or whatever? And he said, well, sometimes he shuts early. He said, but never mind, enjoy your trip. And we said, we will. We've enjoyed it so far, and at least it's not raining. And off we plodded. And then we got to this forestry picnic area, and we flopped down. And this car came and put dust on us, and then another car came, and we thought, oh, this is more dust, and we thought...
And Anne said, I hope he won't come right in front of us. And he came right in front of us and opened the door, and then...
He jumped out, and he said, I'm the cyclist, and he had this great big box with him, a big flask of tea,
big carton of apple juice,
a big fruit cake, and I just...
rolls with salmon and salad in.
And we just said we were going to miss the shop and not have our apple and banana, and there was an apple and banana each.
And a bottle of milk, and I meant to get milk at the shop.
And we could not believe it. We could not believe our luck. We've had luck all the way through, but this was just the icing on the cake.
And we saw this lot, we just couldn't believe it when we saw it. It was just, you know, unbelievable.
And he looked at us as his food disappeared so quickly.
It's amazing, isn't it? I mean, it doesn't matter. When you get to that stage, in the last couple of days, you will eat anything and you will eat it twice.
Yes, and especially what we wanted.
Yeah.
You know, it just all appeared there. We couldn't believe it.
That's right, yeah.
I bet you could have kissed him all over.
Oh, we did, yes.
We didn't kiss him all over, but we did kiss him.
Yes, we gave him a kiss, oh, yes.
And he was a local chap. He said he'd actually been born in a stable over the back. And Christine said, well, you might not have been put in a manger, but you're our
guardian angel. That's right. Yeah.
Your saviour, definitely.
Yeah.
And so, did he stay for a chat while you ate the food?
Yes, he watched us eat for about a quarter of an hour, and then he took all his cups. He even bought cups for us to have our tea out of, and the milk and the sugar and everything. And he had his dog Jet with him.
When he was driving away, and he'd left these things, and I sort of ran after him and sort of waved and said, you know, take this with the milk and the apple juice. Oh no, you have them. I said, well, we can't carry the weight of the apple juice. It's such a big carton, so we kept the milk but not the apple juice.
And that was really sums up the luck that we had on the trip.
And the rest of the walk, we're just talking about how surprised we were when all this feast appeared just like that.
But it's that type of memory is something that will stay with you for many years to come. I mean, it's the simple generosity of people in Scotland.
That's right.
It just hits you sometimes. It's just so simple, but what an effect it makes to your morale, doesn't it?
Lovely, yes, definitely.
So you were on skipping and not feeling any...
Skipped along, and those 6 miles just disappeared.
Yeah.
Before we knew it, we were at the campsite in our shower, and we were too hungry to have dehydrated food. So
and I said to Anne, I feel I could just walk straight onto the coast. I'm that full of energy.
Euphoria.
That's right, yes.
So you went to sleep that night with a smile on your face?
Yes,
definitely, yes.
Glad that there are reinforce the impression that there are still good people in the world.
Oh, definitely,
exactly.
Excellent. And so was the final day a bit of a letdown after that then, or did you get to the beach quite happy?
It was nice to get nearer and nearer to the sea, and all the happy memories of the past fortnight. Yes, lovely.
We really enjoyed that last day, thinking of the day, the whole trip. And we got near the sea, and we just felt so pleased that we were... Well, I never thought I'd do it, and I've done it, and I'm a mountain lady now.
I knew she'd do it, yes, I knew she'd do it.
And so the final question is, are you going to come back and do it again?
Yes.
Yes.
And that brings us to the end of this 14-part series from the 2007 RAB TGO Challenge, which I hope you've enjoyed. As participants, our thanks must go to sponsors RAB, TGO magazine, and of course organiser Roger Smith and his capable team. It's only fair, therefore, that the final words should be from Roger.
I thought the whole event had a very good atmosphere about it. Certainly that was the feedback that we got from challengers. Obviously, every challenge you get things which don't go exactly as you'd planned, and as you know, we had to have 2 mountain rescues, but they were both carried out very efficiently and promptly, and that didn't detract from the overall success of the event. I felt again this year we had an extremely good crop of first-time challengers who entered fully into the spirit of the event, and that bodes very well for the future.
I noticed there was obviously the usual contribution of overseas challengers as well.
These good folk are very important to us, so we think it's wonderful that they should want to come, in some cases at very long distances. One, Steve Kane from New Zealand, to visit us and to experience walking in Scotland, to take part in the challenge. And of course we get our usual crop of Dutch challengers and the Yanks that we wouldn't be without, and I think it adds very considerably to the whole spirit of the challenge that we have these people coming from overseas, and we're delighted to see them.
I noticed the last couple of years you've had feedback, comments and gear reviews almost from people. Has anything interesting come out of those at all?
If there are 300 people on the challenge, then there are 300 views about kit, as I'm sure you'll appreciate yourself. But, I mean, the main argument and debate really has been about how light can you go whilst remaining within the bounds of reasonable safety, and I think that will continue. But there does seem to be, people are going to quite considerable efforts to get their pack weight down, and that's one of the main complaints that you get from people, especially those who've maybe not done the challenge before, is, oh, my pack was too heavy, how can I get the weight down? And there seems to be endless invention and innovation in this area. There's also a considerable debate about footwear, as to whether things like Innovate shoes are actually suitable for the challenge. I think this is a very personal matter. If they suit you, fine, and you think you can get on with them, fine, then by all means carry on. But other people will feel much more happy with a more traditional pair of boots and will tend to wear those.
There has been some discussion, I notice, on trying to see if people can get hold of a lightweight bottle of whiskey, but they seem to be struggling in that department.
I don't think we've got down to powdered whiskey yet, Bob, but and I hope, from my own point of view, that we never will, but you never know. Maybe some clever Japanese gentleman will come up with something in that area.
Heaven forbid. Heaven forbid. Now, looking forward to 2008, how's that looking at the moment?
Well, we're getting everything ready. I've actually just today, this is Tuesday, sent a note to the webmaster to put up on the website with the dates and a reminder that there will be a full challenge supplement and entry form in the October issue of TGO magazine, the publication date for which is Thursday the 6th of September. So everybody should look out for that, and that's when the entries open. The entries will close in late October as usual. So that's when we really start gearing up for 2008, and there'll be one or two other significant announcements to come regarding the 2008 event, as regards people that we are working with on the event, which I can't tell you about at the moment, but to look out for in the coming weeks.
Fantastic. And a bit of interest, do you suddenly get, as soon as the magazine is released, do you get an immediate flood of entries, or do they sort of slowly build through the month?
No, it's parabolic. It starts reasonably slowly. There are always people who are either extremely keen or very organised who get their entry in straight away. There's probably a little spurt at the beginning, but then it sort of evens off, and it tends to be a pretty steady flow then through the entry period until I put a note up on the website with a couple of weeks to go reminding them that the entries are closing, and then it does hot up as they realise they've only a few days to get their entry in. So I would urge people, don't leave it to the last minute. If you want to enter, get the magazine, get yourself organised and get your entry in.
Now, the 2008 event obviously is next year, but the 2009 event's the real big one, isn't it?
We're still looking at that. That's the 30th challenge, which is, it's quite amazing to consider that it will have been going for 29 years and it will be the 30th event in 2009. We sent a questionnaire around after this year's event and put it on the website, and we've had quite a few not a huge amount. I had to put a note on reminding people it was there. We've had a reasonable number of responses, but a very wide range of views about what format the 2009 event should take. So we will consider these very carefully, and we'll let people know in good time, at least a year in advance, what we've decided to do.
Fantastic. So, for people that are listening to this then, obviously in eager anticipation of getting the magazine and the paperwork, what actually are the dates for 2008?
The dates for the event for 2008 are the 9th to the 23rd of May, the usual 2-week period. And as I said, entries open once the magazine appears early in September, and entries close towards the end of October.
And everything is booked as normal, the Park Hotel and Tarfside and so on?
Oh yes, the park have the dates, and Tarfside is also already booked. So we are ready to receive all the entries, and we look forward to getting them not only from our regulars, but also we hope from a lot of first-time challengers as well, because we always like to see those. And I'm sure that 2008 will be another terrific event.
And so our two podcasters reach the end of their epic journey and tip their toes in the cool sea on the East Coast, and thus brings to a close the 2007 RAB TGO Challenge. Why not join this unique event next year? Keep your eyes open for the October issue of TGO magazine, or visit their website at tgomagazine.co.uk.